Good morning. We're in John 6, 60 to 65, continuing this curious section where Jesus has introduced the thought that his disciples have to eat his flesh and drink his blood. We're trying to get our heads around this because in real time that would have been very confusing, and that's exactly what we read here. On hearing this, verse 60 says, many of his disciples said, this is a hard teaching. This shows us that it's talking about more than just the 12. This is a hard teaching. Who can accept it? Aware that his disciples were grumbling about this, Jesus said to them, does this offend you? Then what if you see the Son of Man ascend to where he was before? The Spirit gives life, the flesh counts for nothing. The words I've spoken to you, they're full of the Spirit and life. Okay, let's stop there. The mistake that Christians have long made, let's call it the Gnostic error, is to equate that this world is evil and that flesh means body or material. The material world around us, it's evil, it's going to be burned up. God's going to replace it with a pure spiritual world of bliss. So spirit good, flesh is bad. That's not what flesh is. It's not talking about atoms and molecules. It's not talking about muscles and sinews. It's an attitude of the heart. As I go through life and try to do life without God, or I act as if God does not exist, or I do not listen to God, or want to align my life with his will, I am acting according to the flesh. So it's both an attitude of the heart and it's bodily responses, right? So this is kind of an automatic part of what it means to be sinful or fallen. Every time we operate as if God doesn't matter or exist, we don't acknowledge God, we operate in the flesh. Jesus is saying here, this is confusing to you, but I'm bringing words, heavenly words, counsel that only God understands, right? I'm bringing them and giving them to you. And these words have life. They're filled with the Spirit. They're going to lead you into a life that's totally dependent on God and his Spirit. So as we said last time, feeding on Jesus means to be dependent on Jesus, to abide in him, to look to him, to turn to him, to allow Jesus to resource us. And Jesus is saying, that's what I'm leading you into. So don't think about me actually eating my flesh, drink my blood. Think about what I have to give you is life. It's filled with the Spirit, and it leads you into a life where you're connected to God, his purposes, his will. You are united with God's kind of plan, his providential plan. So he's re-instructing them that really, as they penetrate his teaching, he's leading them into a kind of way of living in which they can live in parallel with God's purposes. It's worthy of our prayers today. Lord, I want to feed on you, be directed by you. I want to receive what you have to give because I don't want to operate in the flesh. I want to operate in the Spirit. Grace and peace to you.